You can do that now.
This is a poem for Cecil Taylor called Calling All Cats. The window was propped halfway open during the storm. At each of the 7 gates to the netherworld, Inanna, goddess of the heavens, must give up an item. Her crown, the lapis earrings, the strands of her beads, her breastplate, the golden hip girdle, the measuring rod, and finally her garment. Quiet, Inanna, the ways of the underworld are perfect. They may not be questioned. These are Inanna's chakras. She traverses the world like the cycle of Venus, from the morning star to the evening star. The gods live among the people in the cities of Mesopotamia and are considered their co-workers, so that the people see that the gods too are punished. Then the people are better able to accept their own fate. You're given the broken clay cuneiform tablets to hold in your cupped hands, like broken marble steps, broken strands of DNA. Early liquid mondrians lead to geometric ones, and so we move on. Sometimes the picture frame's as elaborate as the picture. Fragrance of white camellia, difficult to cultivate in this climate, particularly pleasing. Wind in the air as the waves in the sea. A bird reiterates, like a small hammer hitting a small nail. Where are those flat black stones you found in the pockets of your old green coat? Small stones tossed up from the sea. A handmade bridge clinks and clangs. You head down river, ultimately down the wormhole. Scrappy animals try to survive the worsening drought on the plain. When the buffalo move on from the watering hole, the leopards finally drink their fill. Listen, something is trying to tell you without naming. Rain on the grass and the river's muddied banks. Quote, how the hi-hat divides time, how the cymbal divides time, how the bass pedal divides time, how his sticks on the snare, it becomes infinite. Rhythm then is existence, and existence time. Foda, 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 foda. Fluorescence of the perpendicular. A ruined village, the roof's long gone. Only the walls stand, the rooms open to the sky. Phonemes, a few for each musician. Not definition except as outline. Living, daily living. 7 concentric circles around your body. Porous, keep you contained. Acceptance arrives after many fires, many walks and loves. A possible symmetrical universe are opposite. His breath and pelvis inseparable from the sounds. You don't need to look at one another to be in sync. Sergeants, Moorish buildings muted on a cloudy day. Sun-drenched staircase in Capri. Lavender and rose spreading in the sky. Everyone out of the house, and if you run away, it's because you need to. My mother, you crossed the whole ocean, gave me strong, simple answers. Leonardo was sure the soul lay at the center of the brain, invented special tools for the construction of canals so the workers would be less fatigued. Straight letters show independence, large spaces between words alienation, round loops below the line sexuality, long loops above the center thinking, open M's and N's empathy naturally. An ant running as fast as it can across the windowsill. An ant running as fast as it can across the windowsill. And you don't think it has rhythm? Great queen, progenitor of all the gods, who has given every living thing its vibration. The rain, the open window, the soldier ant caught by the rain. Rivulets and waterfalls, wires, spires, wheat fields. That chair is curved. The other chair is curved. That brown chair is curved. The prospectus was presented, taken up by the rest. The company constructed his piano with extra keys. You're moving very fast. Slow down. You'll catch the little things. This is still fast-paced, yet relaxing. Don't knock yourself out. Yet the faster I go, the happier you get. I've broken your obsessive sentences with my forearms along the keys, with the digits of my fingers. When it came to civil rights, Kennedy had to be pushed. Note the portrait of Lincoln in the all-white restaurant. Solitary confinement and factory farming, ultimate cruelty. Organized prison breaks. Once I was, then I became, then I am, then I will, then I won't. Chez vous, chez tous, chez toi, chez moi, Heartwood, wood smoke. We drove over the rise on Route 2, instantly compelling the big view. The depth of the forest filled with yellow leaves. It's still beautiful. I don't want to leave. 18th century engraving. Fields on fire, people rushing down the road, slowed by their possessions, however meager. Spirals, circles, diagonals, dots, all in black. And in a new sentence, a calm, a hearing, a way through. How many minutes left? I wish you had stayed until the study was painted, to see the pear green walls, the cream-colored trim, and the little bits of blue and yellow at the top. It would have been a pleasure for me to see you glance at it. I wish you had stayed till all the pictures I'm having framed were hung, and you could comment on them negatively or not. I wish you had stayed until I learned to play the new baby grand better so you wouldn't tease me when I tried out the Moonlight Sonata again. I wish you had folded my laundry once more and put it outside my door. I wish you'd criticize me one more time for not making my bed. There's a wild storm and I hope the electricity doesn't go out. If you were still here, I wouldn't mind. You live in the present so I won't be able to find you anymore. I remember when Moss's wife gave me that massage at their house in Barcelona, and I started crying, and after a while you came into the room after asking if you could slide the curtain over, and though you had no idea why I was crying, you just held me in my sheet for a long time. You carried our 4 suitcases for a mile without putting them down. You love to be able to do anything. Kids adore you. The leaves are shivering in the storm. There's Patricia. She smiled because from her garden she saw me sitting here in the living room. I wonder if she knows you left and that's why she's being kind. I remember when I first knew you, you called me once to ask for directions. I was your teacher then. Why are you calling me for directions, I asked. Because I thought you might know how to get there, you answered. I remember to my old house you brought over a Russian woman you met on the plane who spoke no English. I think you wanted to impress her that you were friends with your teacher who was a poet, but she had no idea what the word poet meant, though you pointed to me and said it over and over. Once you called at 2 a.m. to say you were in jail and needed bail. I was beside myself. Got ya, you said, and we laughed. You don't repeat yourself. That's one reason you won't be coming back. That's one reason I didn't get bored with you. You think your vocabulary is minimal, but the point is you usually use the right word. Soon when I'm out of the house, you'll get the Chinese hammer dulcimer you brought home last week and put next to the piano. I plucked the strings, pretending I was playing a Chinese country and western song. I rarely did things like that before because living alone, When I saw friends, we went out to events or took walks or caught up on each other's lives. Remember when you drove through that cornfield at 100 miles an hour? I remember one night you came in and announced you had a lousy day, that in a rainstorm a woman had cut you off in her car, causing you to fall off the motorcycle and skid 50 feet. You said, "Well, I guess I won't take the bike out in the rain anymore." 5 minutes later, I asked if you still felt that way. Nope. Sometimes I visit the steers and cows on the Minuteman Trail. The other night I dreamt they jumped over the electric fence and lay down beside me to comfort me. This one's for Bill Corbett. Energy. He insisted on getting to Garrett's memorial at Gloucester's Hammond Castle by the sea. Fanny walked him up the aisle. He spoke. I couldn't hear what he said. His face was unrecognizable. Our man in Boston, as Creeley called him. You felt the energy in his red round face. He conducted, eyes closed, to nail the rhythms while the poets read. He was the one who had brought them there. There's so much to think about. I guess I'll go home. The last time he was at my house, he said as he was leaving with a mutinous smile, "Thanks for the gossip." He treated poetry with respect. We read at Steve Lacy's memorial at St. Mark's, thanks to Creeley. I saw Bill standing in the wings and intimidated by him then. The only thing I could think of to say was, "Where's the bathroom?" If I remember right, "Over there," is what he answered, and he patted me on the head. He was a little shy, too, and a little sweet, but he loved to turn up the heat.